Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I got this makeup look right here. One of you guys asked for me to do a recreation of Madison Beer's VMA makeup, and this is what I came up with. I tried to transform myself into the one and only stunning Madison Beer. This is as close as I could ever get to looking like her. What is going on with this little flippy thing? If you guys want to see how I got this makeup look, then definitely please keep watching. Consider subscribing. I love you guys, and let's get into the video. Alright, let's get started. So I already started off by prepping my skin. I moisturized it using my Kiehl's Ultra Facial Moisturizer. And then this is the photo that I will be referring to. I also have my frothed coffee ready, or whipped coffee. Essential for doing your makeup. This is going to be the makeup look that we are referring to. Going to be inspired by this. Not identical because I definitely do not have Madison Beer's face, but we're going to get as close to this as possible. Alright, so I'm going to take a little bit of my e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer and put that on my cheeks just because I have a lot of pores. I'm just going to rub this in. Mainly just focus it like in this cheek area here. Also guys, disregard this breakout right here. Honestly, what's the point of always pointing out every pimple and breakout? Like, who cares? Everybody gets them. Like, it's normal. You know what it is? Why do we pretend like real life doesn't happen? So now I'm just going to be using the Schwarzkopf Got to Be Glued Styling Gel to lift up my eyebrows and kind of give that lifted look that Madison Beer has, or attempt to, because my brows are literally crazy and they grow in every direction. I'm gonna try not to go in with too much. It definitely doesn't have a feathery brow going on. I'm gonna make sure to comb the top parts down. And then I'm just gonna prime my eyelids using my Lancome Ultra Wear Tawny Doll Concealer. I said that backwards, but you know what I mean. And I'm gonna focus this in the inner part to make sure that all the darkness in there gets covered, and then dot a little bit out here and a little bit across my lid. Now just going to pat that in with any sort of concealer brush. Again, whenever you're using a concealer as eyeshadow primer, make sure it's one that's not going to be too shiny or hydrating, or it will break up the eyeshadow. Make sure you use a more mattifying one. And then I'm going to take some more concealer with a concealer brush. This one's by MAC. I like that it's tapered because I'm going to use the edges of it to clean up the sides of my eyebrow. I'm mainly going to focus it on like the tail area to make sure that that area is nice and lifted. And I find that whenever I conceal under my brows before filling them in, I end up using way less product to fill them in, so they end up coming out way less harsh, so that way whenever I pencil them in, I'm only filling in the gap or sparse areas. So then once we do that, I'm going to set my eyelids with some translucent powder. Any translucent powder will work, and just picking that up with a fluffy brush. Always tap off the excess, and I always just do a super light graze of this. You don't want to pack on too much powder or your eyeshadows won't blend or grip to your eye. So I think for this look, the Natasha Denona Glam palette will be the best bet because she definitely has more of like a cooler icy tone on her eyes, and she also has her shadows going a lot higher up than I normally do. Like, they're way more angled. I'm gonna start off with the shade Blend, and I'm gonna pick that up with that same Morphe JH31 brush. Make sure to coat every side of the brush. Always tap off the excess, press it like this and tap it upward. So normally when I blend my shadows, I bring them all the way in here, but for this look, she has this front area super bright and open. So I'm only gonna focus my like crease colors on this outer, pretty much like from here over. I feel like this look is a really good bridal look or bridesmaids look, because it's super simple and I feel like it would go with like a ton of different outfits or colors. And I also like how like glam it is, but still very subtle, nothing overpowering. I find that I just don't like super bold makeup looks anymore. I like for everything to be like a very subtle glam. Not too much shadows going on, nothing too distracting. I'm just gonna push that shadow up into my eyebrow. Notice how I'm holding the brush super far down on the barrel. This will help for me to get a lighter wash and for it not to pack on too much color or pack on the eyeshadows too dark. Okay, looking back at the reference photo. Okay, so I feel like the darker color has a little bit more of a taupey purpley undertone. So I'm gonna take Embark by MAC, and then I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of Royal Rendezvous. And these are just the single shadows that I made in a palette. You can buy them for like $7 and then you can create your own palette. So I'm gonna pick that up with this JH35 brush, and I'm just gonna, like, when I tell you barely tap into these colors, I'm holding my brush this far down and like just super light hand. I'm just gonna tap this like right here. Yeah, that definitely looks more like the tones that she had. Now I want to take a smaller brush, a lighter rendezvous shade, get right in here. Then taking, where's my first blending brush? Tap over everything. Lighter color in this center area here. It almost looks like it has like a peachy, or is that a gold? It's very hard to tell. It almost looks like it has some shimmer in it. So guys, my eyelids aren't completely matte. They're starting to like grease up a little bit. So I'm gonna take a little bit of my dermablend translucent powder. I'm gonna take a very small amount of this. I love to do this when my eyelids are a little bit more shinier than usual. I'll just take a super light sweep of this and literally just like buff it across my whole eyelid. I also find that this helps smooth out the transition shade so that everything looks way more seamless. So watch this. You're gonna see the transparency. And you see this eyelid versus this one, it just like diffuses it a little bit more. So I'm gonna pick up a little bit of transition, like a matte neutral tone, and then I'm gonna pick up a little bit of center eyelid. This is more of like a light champagne golden tone. The reason why I'm mixing the two and the reason why I'm mixing a matte and a shimmer is because in the photo it looks like a very soft shimmer, so I want to tone down that so that the main sparkle and the star of the show will be in that front part of the eye. Applying it with a fluffier brush, that way it doesn't pack on too much of it. I'm just gonna lightly start tapping this. It makes it more of like a satin pearl finish versus like a straight up shimmer. Take my blending brush and just like smooth everything out. Okay, so now we're gonna take a smaller, more dense brush and we're gonna pick up one of my favorite like eyeshadows ever. And it's a beautiful like silver with gold flexes through it, literally almost just like this top. I feel like for my complexion, straight up silvers never look good. So I love a silver that has that like gold warmth to it to like melt into my skin tone. Hers looks a little more silver, so I'm gonna mix. I'm gonna take Silver Smoke by MAC just because it has a little bit more of that cool tone like in the picture. And if I need to add my favorite silver, I will, but I do want it as close to the picture as possible. I'm gonna spray my brush, and the reason I spray my brush is so it shows up more impactful and so it'll stand out from the other soft shimmer on my eyelid. She has this going all the way up here and then also along the lower lash line. She has it going like above her eyelid, on her eyelid. I'm gonna mix a little bit of that Natasha Denona inner corner color. It's because I feel like the silver shimmer I was using ended up turning like a little purpley looking. Blend the edges. So I'm gonna take a little bit of Carbon by MAC. Any black eyeshadow will work. I'm just gonna stamp that right along my lash line. Oh gosh, look at that. It's fine, I'll wipe it off. I like to look down into a mirror and I'm literally just stamping this. Dude, I hate when I get one side super thin and then the other side's thicker, so then you have to thicken up your thinner side, but the thinner side is actually how you wanted it. Let's struggle. Comment down below if you can relate. Also guys, if you like this video so far and you want to see more makeup and fashion tutorials and just lifestyle videos from me, definitely consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. Okay, so now I'm just taking a Q-tip and some of my moisturizer. I just put some on the back of my hand, put my Q-tip in it, and then I use it to clean up any fallout or like mistakes that happen. So for foundation, I'm gonna be using my Clinique Beyond Perfecting just because it is a tried and true. I think I'm only gonna go in with cork. Right now I think it matches exact, so if I need to warm it up, then I'll add a little bit of cashew. A little of this foundation definitely goes a very long way. It's a fuller coverage. It has a nice like satin finish, so it's not going to look cakey on the skin. I find that this foundation works great for literally every skin type. Whenever I apply my foundation, I like to really push it into my skin as if I'm like punching my face. I think I learned that technique. It was Kylie Jenner's makeup artist, Makeup by Ardell. He said that like he gives his models a headache afterward because of like how much he pushes the foundation in the skin. But it really makes a difference, and then I also find that it helps your foundation last longer and be mask proof because it's not just sitting on top to where it's gonna like slide around. And whatever's left on my sponge, I just blend on my forehead. There's literally like no product. It's mainly just gonna smear some of that color around up there. And then I find that by doing that, instead of like adding the foundation directly to my forehead, it ends up making the face look way less cakey because it's not gonna like build up in this area here. I'm now gonna take a fluffier brush in that foundation and bring it down my neck. Also gonna bring it along my chest. I'm gonna cream contour. She definitely has a heavier contour here. She doesn't have a lot of contour on her forehead, but she also has like a very great forehead. Mine is huge, so we are going to contour it to look like hers. Ooh, we can even give ourselves a little butt chin like her. And then our noses are absolutely nothing alike. She has like these little things here like I do. That's like the only thing kind of similar on ours. Mine's is like 3 times her nose. But I'm gonna make sure to accentuate this area instead of like doing the 2 lines down. And then that way it'll give my nose more dimension. Give this This little button nose. All right, so now I'm gonna take a small foundation brush and just start patting this in. I'm not gonna bring this so far inward because I feel like this front area is really bright on her. So I'm just gonna focus it like here, like that. Oh wow, I think I just gave myself her cheekbone. It probably would have been better if I had more of like a cooler tone. This bronzer is super warm, but I just really like the way this one blends. I definitely want to get the Makeup by Mario contour sticks because I feel like they blend out just like the Maybelline Fit Me sticks, except he has a wider color selection, just that they're like 5 times the price. So now I'm just going to highlight. I'm gonna put some along the sides of my nose and underneath of my eyes. Make sure to lift this area here really good. And I'm using that same Lancome Idole concealer. And then with my beauty blender, I'm gonna pick up some more concealer and just start blending this in. I'm just doing light patting motions. I'm gonna try not to move the concealer around too much. That way I can concentrate most of the coverage in here so it's nice and bright. And I use the butt of my sponge to just kind of marry the concealer and cream bronzer together here so that it's defined but not too harsh. And then I'm just gonna pinch my sponge like this and use that to kind of tap over the contour on my nose. And not rubbing, just lightly patting. Using the tip to just blend out the edges here. Pinch it again for the little button. And just tap, 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 tapping. And then I take the tip and kind of like fan it out up here. And once almost everything's blended, I take the butt with a super light hand, barely tapping it, just super light pressure, and I'm just dabbing over everything here so that there's, again, no harsh edges. I'm also gonna apply a little more concealer, just a little tiny bit here and down like this. And then I'm gonna bring it down just to kind of mimic her face shape some more. Then I'm gonna take my e.l.f. putty bronzer in Bora and apply that to my cheek. So she has it really concentrated in like this area here. So I'm just gonna tap it there, motion around here. Alright, that just like made my cheekbones like super lifted. I literally just like altered my face. Then I'm gonna take my Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Beauty Wand. This is a cream highlighter. It's never in stock, but any sort of cream highlighter could work. I'm gonna take this small Jaclyn Hill brush and just tap it on the high points here. So then we're gonna set our face. I'm gonna use my Maybelline Lasting Fix setting spray. And I'm going to be setting my face using this L'Oreal hydraperfect Perfect Loose Setting Powder. I recently picked this up and I've been kind of enjoying it. It's too matte, it melts in, gives like a pearlescent matte finish. I know that makes zero sense, but I'm just telling you, trust me. And it's only like $8. So I'm gonna pick some up with the butt of my sponge and just start patting it in a circle like this. I'm using it like medium pressure and I like it because it'll set the face, but you see how you can still see the glow underneath. The reason why I blend in circles is because if I just started down here, I feel like it would be really bright down here with all the powder and then it would get lighter further up. So I feel like by pouncing it in a circle, it just allows for the powder to be evenly dispersed. So now I'm gonna pick up some more of that powder and then I'm gonna use it to set my under eyes. So I'm gonna use this angled part of the beauty sponge. I always like to set my whole face before I bake. That way it doesn't like start getting super creepy under the eyes or like gripping to any fine lines. Take a small brush like this, pick up that powder and use that to set down the center of my nose. For bronzer, I'm going to use the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Bronzer in the shade Medium. And again with another Jaclyn Hill Morphe brush. I really love the Jaclyn Hill Morphe brushes. This is the JH05 brush. Bronze my forehead to again shrink it like hers. And then when it comes to my cheeks, like I said, they have like most of the product up here. And hers is like very dark. You can tell they really loaded it on to intensify her cheekbones. And I'm just gonna like push it. Also gonna make sure to really enhance my jawline because hers is super enhanced in the photo. I'm gonna take a small fluff brush and that same bronzer and use that to just like set the cream contour down my nose. And then I'm gonna get rid of the bake underneath of my eye. Instead of wiping it, I'm gonna press it in with my beauty sponge. That'll just give it a much smoother finish. And it'll also help lock the makeup in even longer. Then for blush, she has like a really pretty bubblegum cool tone pink on. So it looks literally just like my favorite blush. So I'm going to use the Sephora blush in the shade Over the Moon. Such a pretty, just like super cool tone pinky color. Again, focusing it just in this region here. Blush placement I actually really like. I know a lot of people say to bring it all the way back here and that doesn't work for me. But just having it right here, I think is actually really pretty. And it's still, I think, kind of flattering for my face shape. It does have a good amount of blush on, so I am gonna pack on a good amount of this. Then I'm going to kind of bake underneath here. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna bring it all the way in. I'm gonna focus it kind of where I placed that concealer earlier. So just here, lift it, and then bring it down. Just to, again, kind of mimic her face shape. I'm gonna wipe it away right away, so I don't want it too harsh. And then for highlighter, I'm gonna take the MAC Hyperreal Glow highlight palette. Her highlight is super icy, so I'm only gonna go into these two colors in the palette. I'm gonna use that down my nose and also only right here on the cheek. Again, everything is like super concentrated in the cheek area. Focus it right in here, and I will bring it up a little bit. I normally never do a really concentrated highlight, but this is very concentrated in this picture. She also has a good amount in the center of her forehead. Put some here too. A small brush. I'm just gonna use that to highlight down the center of my nose. Okay, now I'm gonna set my face with my MAC Fix Plus to help melt everything in. And then I do the Lasting Fix by Maybelline to just keep everything in place. All right, so then I'm gonna do my eyebrows off camera. I'm gonna try not to make my eyebrows too bold because hers are very natural and subtle. So I'm gonna attempt to keep them subtle, but my brow hairs are so crazy that I go to lightly fill them in, and then next thing you know, I'm like, I don't know, it just gets out of control. But I'm gonna use the Benefit Precisely My Brow to fill them in. So it looks like she has a white eyeliner in her waterline, so I'm gonna use this one by Morphe in the shade Coconut. I'm gonna pop that in this outer part of my waterline. I'm not gonna apply it all the way to the edge though, because I'm gonna apply a black here to connect it to the top lash line. So just like right here. Leave a little gap in the edge here, and then don't fill in the front. Then I'm gonna take my black eyeliner by Makeup by Mario, the best black eyeliner ever. Trust me, if you guys are on the hunt for a super pigmented, creamy black eyeliner, look no further. Get this one. It's seriously amazing. So I'm gonna apply that in here to give more of that fox eye look, and then connect it up here. And then again, on this last little part here, we're gonna lift it like that. I am going to be applying a half lash today, so I'm going to apply a good amount of mascara before I go in with my lashes. That way the half lash will blend in with my front eyelashes. So I'm going to curl them. I'm then going to apply my MAC Lash Primer and then my Lancome Idole mascara. And then when I applied the mascara to my lower lash line, I try to only focus it where I did that white part of the eyeliner and not bring it all the way across. Just because on her eye, she has it only like on the ends, and then like the inside is very bling. So I'm gonna use these Ardell accent lashes. They're the 301s. They are my favorite for like a super subtle lash lift, but these are also just my favorite in general. Like they look so natural. So even if you're wearing no makeup or very minimal makeup, you can pop these on for a little bit extra volume and it's not gonna take over your eye. It's not even gonna look like you have false lashes on. It just like opens up the eye a little bit more. And what makes these even better is that they're so easy to apply, especially for beginners, because you're only going to focus them like more toward the end of your eye. But you see the difference from this eye versus this eye, and it just lifts it, opens it up, but you can barely tell that I have a lash on. They're my favorite. In order to achieve that Madison Beer, like, you know what I mean? You're going to overline this top portion here and then bring it in. You're not going to overline the edges. I'm going to take my Maybelline lip pencil in the shade Totally Toffee. I love this because it's super creamy and it stays on for a really long time. So if you overline, it's not like it's going to smudge everywhere. So I'm going to overline up here, go right above, and then I'm going to bring it inward to my corner of my lip. Then you're going to line your bottom lip like normal. And then I'm going to take this color by Givenchy. It is in the shade Street Rose. I'm going to put that more in the center of my lip. Alex got this for me for Christmas last year. If they don't still make this, or honestly just in general, I definitely recommend MAC Faux and MAC Cream Cup. And then I'm going to take my MAC lip gloss in the shade Dreamy and apply that to the high points of the lip right here. Because this little pimple is looking crusty dusty, we're just gonna turn it into a mole. So I'm gonna take a black eyeliner and just dot right on top of it. All right, I'm going to fix up my hair and I'll be right back for the outro. I'm gonna try to get that whole Hollywood swoop, and when I come back, you might confuse me for Madison Beer. Just kidding. All right, so then while my hair is setting, I'm gonna take a little bit of that initial crease color, and with a super small brush, I'm gonna lightly graze that along my lower lash line, taking the lightest dot of that color. Okay, so then lastly, to really transform myself into Madison Beer, I'm gonna apply my Soletica Aquarella lenses in Sienna Brown. This comes with a set of 10 lenses for I believe $30, and then I do have a discount code with Soletica. If you use the code Janelle in all caps, I believe you can get the whole set for $25, and they're perfect for occasions like this where you just want to switch up your look temporarily, but you don't want to like invest in like super expensive contact lenses, but these still look very realistic. You can also get these lenses prescription or non-prescription. All right guys, so here you have it. This is the completed makeup look. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. It definitely helps me out. If you want to see more beauty, lifestyle, and fashion content from me, then definitely consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. I love you all so much. Pray that y'all have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!